Sentimental FX update for the 13th of January. S&P chart is still very bullish on the sentiment. The herd are slightly going long, or they're getting stopped out and then reversing. But the big picture is still risk on. So we can do all sorts of trend lines and stuff like that, but we can probably anticipate it's going to ignore things like this. It's probably more sentimentally fundamental driven as opposed to trend lines. This is a H4 chart. We've broken that one, for example. We are above MR1 and MR2 is 3848, so obviously all-time high. We've got some inflation data tomorrow, and I was saying about the Fed, because if it's going to be an inflation beat, then the Fed have got a 2% target, and if it's going to over exceed that target, there's no need to keep pumping the market. So there's going to potentially be like a tantrum, and we could potentially see some risk off, and I think that's why we've had a very, very choppy week, especially with the bubbles. The bubbles have been moving to and fro very erratically, and so we could potentially see some risk off, and it would pay the herd as well. The herd are short, but it's kind of like a bit long in the tooth, and we can definitely come down to some support, and then we can have a nice rally. But having said that, do check your technicals as well. It's all fully strong on every single moving average. The moving average trend is strong on all time frames. So you have to think, it's a buy opportunity. It's not really necessarily a sell opportunity. It's a buy a dip opportunity, but only at support. Okay, so we'll look at gold, and monthly pivot is 1858. We are a sell at the high level, and your SLC above is 1865. The SLC below is very, very far away, so it's not really worth showing you that. The moving average trend is down across all time frames, and we're a sell at the high level. And if we were to take these guys off, and it's just very sideways, that's them guys going long, so it should be quite bearish. So yeah, your monthly support is 1808, so potentially come down here. It's going to be a tricky day tomorrow, so just take care. AJ 8103, 8016, and likewise you can see if it's a buy. And technically we're pretty weak actually, apart from the day, pretty sideways on the dynamic. AU 7785, 7660. And likewise we're buy, and it's quite weak in the time frames apart from the daily. It's them guys going long, so that could be bearish, a little movement. Remember, it's a H4 time frame, so if we were to change it, then you can see a little bit of them going long there. You see, go back to H4 and check your ATR values as well. EA on above 15733, we are a sell, pretty sideways, but they're going long, but not in like a dramatic fashion. It's just very gradual, so that would be bearish. EU, this is the reason why we had the big shift on our spreadsheet, is that movement here, and your monthly pivot is 12150, so bear that in mind. If we cross below, which I think we will, and that's going to be your bias for the rest of the month. For the rest of January, that could be a good strong resistance. The SLC below is 12120 and 12235. Pound USD, this is stronger than the Euro USD. If you look at your candles, use candlestick analysis on the daily time frame, yesterday it was significantly stronger than the Euros. That's one of the reasons why I sold the Euro Pound, because of the difference in the strength. 13720 and 13589 for a buy, and that's them selling it, but they might just be ticking up a little bit on their position in there. That's them guys going along, so we have to be a bit careful. If they continue, we'll come down. You can see how it's a mirror image, so when they sell it, we come up, you see. So if they go long, we can come down. It's just, basically it's a mirror image, so you do want to take your dynamic. They could be quite bearish, and could be fundamental driven as well, because we've got all this coronavirus stuff going on in the UK. So you could probably say it's that. And maybe the dollar's going to strengthen from the inflation data. So it could be leading up to become a trap. So if they do go long, we can come down. Kiwi USD, 72.41, 71.37. Check your moving averages. Some nice analysis in the technical group for this pair, so that's really cool. Remember to check your charts in that chat room. Some quite bearish charts there, so worth checking out. And it's the sell on the dynamic, so we come down. If they continue, we'll come down even more. EJ 126.85 and 125.92. If you were to do a volume profile, which I recommend everyone looks at, there's a free indicator on the starter pack. Use the TPO volume profile, and you'd know this was quite bearish because we're below the point of control, and we were below the daily pivot as well. So you know, it's looking quite bearish. I think we might cross the monthly pivot. And check your moving averages, and your signal is to sell. So the high level is a buy, but the dynamic is saying to sell. Pound yen 142.32, 141.42. The dollar strengthens, it's going to be a wrecking ball. So bear that in mind. If you have got a position on anything, then be aware of the inflation data tomorrow. Strong USD is going to hurt this a lot. So bear that in mind. So dollar yen on above, 104.02 and 103.49. Remember your monthly pivot, we're above. We'll take these guys off, we'll see what the dynamics like. So it's them selling it. They went long here. They probably got stopped out, I imagine. Now they reversed here to sell, and so that comes up. So it's just like a stop hunt, basically. Everything is a liquidity probe, I believe, and it's probably more to do with that than technicals and stuff like that. So I think it's just stop hunts. So we have to be careful. Keep an eye on your SLC indicators, and worth definitely getting the FX exercise suite. You can see them, and then you know what to do, and try and position yourself so you can see where the stop loss clusters are. Choppy on the moving average trend, and the stochastics very mixed as well. Dollar CAD 127.45, 126.78. I believe we probably took the SLC out. Yeah, that the spread would have taken people out of that. And this is a signal to sell, I believe. The bubbles have been very erratic this week, so hopefully you guys were okay with the signals. So yeah, it was a sell, but because we're taking the SLC out, we can potentially bounce. But we are a sell at the high level, and they're going long over time, so it should come down. Tomorrow's going to be important, I think. It's been a choppy series of events up to the inflation data. Dollar Swiss 89.25, 88.41. These guys off. It's just choppy, isn't it? Really, it's that would be fairly bullish because they're selling it. So up we come, and then that just wraps up because I've covered gold and S&P. Yeah, so this is one of the reasons why I'm holding on to the signals, is because the euro pound, that we should be falling because of the bubble divergence. And we know that the euro is weak and the pound's strong, so this should be falling. And if it doesn't, it just tells us that it's payday for the herd. So we have to be careful and just use wisdom and common sense for signals. For example, if we had a AJ signal to sell or buy, you'd want to check your S&P chart and look at risk. You wouldn't just blindly enter the AJ trade without checking what stock markets are doing. If we're having like massive rallies, then this is going to rally, regardless of the sentiment. You want to check your risk. So yeah, it's been a funny old week this week, so I hope you have a good day and good night wherever you are in the world, and I'll speak to you guys tomorrow.